Hi, my name is Kayla Merritt, and for my final presentation for qs301, I am doing the music video qs301 by Muna featuring Phoebe Bridgers. Muna is an American indie pop band. Its members include Katie Gavin, Josette Maskin, and Naomi McPherson. They started in Los Angeles, where the band members met at University of Southern California. They signed to singer-songwriter Phoebe Bridgers' label Satisfactory. They released 3 albums, including About You, Saves the World, and Muna. The song is off their self-titled album Muna. Phoebe Bridgers was born on August 17, 1994, in Pasadena, California. She was a member of the musical groups Boy Genius and Better Oblivion Community Center. Her music has been described as indie rock, indie folk, emo folk. Her albums include Stranger in the Alps, Better Oblivion Community Center, which she did with Conor Oberst, and Punisher. She is openly bisexual, and her pronouns are she and her. I'm using the text The Trouble Was Normal by Michael Warner to analyze this music video. In it, he talks about sexual shame and how sexual shame is something that queer people experience because of the puritanical and heteronormative society that we live in. I like this quote right here because it sums up the beginning of this video very well. Sooner or later, happily or unhappily, almost everyone fails to control his or her sex life. And that's what we're seeing right now at the beginning of this video, was the main character being dropped off at a conversion camp, where we see the people are segregated by gender, women on the right and men on the left, and the men are wearing stereotypical blue and the women are wearing stereotypical pink. We have somebody here who is somewhere that she doesn't want to be. She's lost control of her sexuality and identity. We can see here the characters are giving her a very judgmental look. She's in a place where she's being judged and all eyes are looking at her. And this gets into the idea of moralism versus morality. Moralism being something that's being imposed on her, whether she likes it or not. And morality being something that exists to determine good and bad. Morality being something that's very different than moralism, where values and ideas are being imposed on someone. And that is what we're seeing here. And that's what happens in a society that we live in that is very segregated by gender, that is very binary, and is very heteronormative, is that moralism is imposed on people. So Michael Warner in the book talks about how do we get rid of sexual shame. And the first thing that comes up is get rid of sex. And we have here gay sex being stigmatized with this presentation that says straight is great. The ethical response to sexual shame seems to be more shame. Sexual taste is mandated for everyone. And this right here is a good example of the ideas that are imposed on people. Again, talking about moralism. One person's idea of how the world should be, based again on puritanical ideas that are being pushed onto other people and create shame. But we see here that same-sex desire breaks through that oppressive system. A space is being carved out with sex positivity and attraction positivity. We see here that sexual shame is being combated by these two women who are clearly attracted to each other. At this point in the video, we're seeing men doing stereotypical things. Again, this is a puritanical system that's imposing a gender binary. I also like this quote from Warner right here. And yet people still fear and despise those whom they identify with sex. Here we have this conversion camp that is imposing very stereotypical, very gendered and binary ideas onto people in order to push them into what they consider to be into what they consider to be normal and healthy. Again, moralism. And right here again, we're talking about separating good sex from bad sex by a series of hierarchies, and teaching stereotypical female behavior to women to combat what is perceived as being bad sex. Sexual orientation is fundamental to one's personality and is not mere behavior. While this is something that a lot of people understand, we're still seeing the system that's being created and being imposed by a binary and heteronormative society in order to correct what they deem to be inappropriate and wrong behavior. Moralism. But again, no matter how hard a puritanical system tries to erase queerness, it still exists. No matter what, they cannot destroy it. So it's still there, even if it's something that people are ashamed of. And here I like this part in the video for where we see the women in the video becoming more affectionate with each other, becoming more physical with each other, because we're resolving that sex and dignity is compatible. And when these two women are empowering themselves with sex and identity, and are beginning to no longer experience shame, because they are pushing through the gendered and binary system that is the heteronormative system that is being imposed upon them. Here at the end, we have the characters have escaped. They're on the back of a truck wearing gender-neutral clothes in different colors. They freed themselves from the shame that was imposed on them. They are wearing more gender variance clothing. They are freeing themselves from the self-loathing that the heteronormative conversion camp was trying to impose on them. And we see here that again, going back to the idea of morality versus moralism, these are people who are expressing themselves and enjoying who they are. And that right there kind of goes into the idea of morality. This is a good thing that they are doing. They are experiencing goodness. They are experiencing queer euphoria. And that kind of just sums up the video for me. This is about characters celebrating their queerness. At the end of the video, we see them all performing at a bar. 4 characters are dancing with each other. This is a place where queerness can exist and not have to suffer from the norms of straight culture. This is why gay bars exist. This is why queer community centers exist. This is why LGBT centers exist. For people to experience queer euphoria and not sexual shame. This video is not just about moralism versus morality, but it's also about community. It's about how we all need to build community in order to feel support, in order to feel love, in order to feel respect, and in order to feel dignity. Because the outside world, again, is very heteronormative. We live in a very binary society. We live in a very gendered society, to the point for silly things like toys and clothes are very, very, very strictly gendered. And then we see here at the end, these characters have gone beyond that. These characters have gone beyond the sexual shame that's being imposed by the puritanical world that they were existing in, so they can experience queer euphoria in a place that is made for them. And this is my works cited page. I used the text, "The Trouble Was Normal, Sex, Politics, and the Ethics of Queer Life" by Michael Warner, and articles about Muna and Phoebe Bridgers for the biographical information. Thank you.